So here's the question. Does it really take $200,000 of income now to be considered middle class or have a middle class lifestyle? Let's take a look at the numbers. Because 200,000 sounds like a lot to some people, but that might be what it needs to have a middle class kind of comfortable lifestyle. Let's look at the numbers. If you are purchasing a home right now, you're going to probably want to buy a house in most markets that's maybe around 550 or 600,000. Most markets, in order to get a decent house, a nice house, something that's a little bit above average, you're going to spend 5 or 6, sometimes close to $700,000 for a house. In most markets, 2 or 300 doesn't get you much. You can get an okay house, right? You can get a decent house, probably 10 to 15 years old, maybe a little bit smaller, and maybe less land. In some areas, obviously, you can still get a $300,000 or $400,000 house that's decent. But in most areas, 550, 600, 650, maybe for an above average house. It's not $1 million house. It's not a millionaire's type house. Not a mansion, but an above average house. Put in the comments. Let us know what you think about that in your area. But here's the thing: if you buy a house, let's say at 600 or 610, put down, let's say 10%. Most people put down 10%. You're going to be financing about 540 or 550. Well, that's going to put you at a mortgage payment with the current rates of $4,000. Right? Hold that thought. A house like that will probably have taxes and insurance, property tax and insurance, of maybe another $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year, depending on the tax rate and insurance premiums in your state. So add on another $1,000. Now you're at $5,000 just for your house. Now, if you buy a relatively nice new car, most new cars now that are halfway decent are about 40 grand, 45. You could spend easily 50,000 to get a decent average car. You're not going to get a luxury car in most cases for 50,000. But even, cars like Jeep, Gladiators, minivans, SUVs, they're all going to be in the $40,000 to $50,000 range. So let's say you buy one that's 45,000, right? Can you find cars that are 30 or 40? Sure, you can. Can you find some cars that are in the 20s? Not so much anymore for a new car. Well, if you take a $45,000 car, you're going to have a car payment of about $1,000 a month at the current interest rates. So now add on $1,000. Now you're at $6,000 for payments for one car and one house. One nice car and one nice house. Let's assume you have a second car, but maybe you own that cash. Maybe that's a cheaper car. We'll throw that away. So now you're at $6,000. Well, what is your insurance for your car is going to be, right? So you might have maybe, if you're lucky, $300, $400 a month for insurance for your car. And you're going to spend probably $300 or $400 a month for gas for your car. You're also probably going to have on your house some utilities. Depending on where you live, you could have electric, water. You're going to have internet. You're going to have probably sewer in most places. You add all that up, that could be $1,000. So add that with your insurance, that's $1,600-$1,700. Well, now you're at $7,500 a month just for your base payments before anything discretionary. You got to buy food. What's your food budget? Food budget could be a couple $100 a week, $250 a week. That's another $1,000. Now you're at $8,500 a month for basic necessities. That's not any entertainment, going out, clothes, other things. So let's start adding that up. If you have a couple kids, you're going to have fees for school activities, sports activities, lessons, books. That could be $200 or $300 a month. You're going to have to buy at least somebody a birthday present every month. 12 people that you need to buy a birthday present for, and if it averages out one a month, that could be $100, a couple $100 a month. All of a sudden, now you have another $500 or $600. So let's take that $8,500, make it $9,000. You keep a running total. Well, now you have $9,000, and you're also going to find that you're going to want to buy stuff. You're going to want to buy clothes, maybe some things for the house. Things in the house. You want to get new furniture. Look, those kind of expenses, you don't necessarily see them on your monthly budget, but they add up. You're at the store, you see, flower arrangement you want to buy, or you see a lamp, or you see something for your yard, or whatever it is, you're going to see that. That's, a couple $100 a month that adds up quick. Also, you're going to need to fix things that break. You're going to have maintenance on your house. You're going to have to repair your lawnmower, get a new lawnmower. There's a few $100s. You also going to have a cell phone bill. If you got 3 or 4 people on a cell phone bill, that could easily be $300 or $400 a month. In addition to that, you're probably going to have some entertainment subscriptions. You might have streaming. You might have some like Disney or Hulu. Add those 3 things up, now you got another $1,000. Now you're at $10,500 a month in expenses. You probably could get away without having domestic staff, like somebody to cut your grass, maybe somebody to do maintenance on your house. A lot of that you can do yourself, so we'll leave that off. But some people want to pay for those things. So remember, you haven't gone on any vacations. You haven't gone out to eat significantly. You haven't purchased any luxury items. So whatever your budget you think for that's going to be overall throughout the year, it may not be the same every month. What do you think that's going to be? So if you say, what's your eating out budget? What's your vacation budget? What's your luxury item budget? So eating out, if a family of 4 goes out to eat, it's probably going to cost a couple $100. Are you going to do that once a week? Are you going to do that twice a month? You can do that twice, 2-3 times a week. Let's say if you do it once a week, and that's pretty conservative. Most people go out to eat more than that. So you're going to have an expense adding all that up. That's going to be extremely variable from one family to another. And then what about vacations? You may go on a vacation in the summer. You may go for a 3-day weekend. You may go for holidays around Christmas, or you may go for 2 or 3. And if you average that out, if it costs you, a few $1,000 every time you go, between gas and hotels or flights or whatever it is, and you go 2 or 3 times, that could be another $400 or $500 a month on average. It could be $5,000 or $6,000 a year. So now you're taking that $10,500 and you're adding probably a couple grand for discretionary type activities, eating out and vacations. And then you have your luxury purchases. But let's stop right there. Let's not even add that on. Already we're at $12,000, almost $13,000 for a monthly budget on average. Well, what does that turn out to for an annual salary? Well, $13,000 a month times 12 months puts you at $150,000 for expenses. But you got to remember, that's after taxes, take home. What does it take for a gross pay to take home $156,000? It takes about $208,000. So if you have that kind of a budget structure for your household, for your family, where you have a nice car, a nice house, you go out to eat once in a while, you buy a few things, you're going to need to have a $200,000 a year annual income, household income. And as a household income, you may have 2 people earning income. You might have, spouses each earning an income to add up to $200,000. But either way, it's going to take $200,000 to fund that kind of lifestyle. That's not even including, do you want to put money away for retirement? Do you have to pay for your own health insurance? Do you have health expenses outside of insurance? That's just for your daily, monthly, yearly life. It's not for your saving for the future. It's not investments. So $200,000 at one point seemed like a lot of money. In 2022 or 23, that's roughly middle class, or just kind of maybe slightly above middle class. Tell us what your thoughts are in the comments, and do you see these same kind of expenses in your household?